Did you know that 82% of black men are actually married to black women? But for some reason, black women are upset at the small percentage of black men that are dating outside their race. Let's dive into it and figure out why. So, I want to get into the conversation first. Um, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna react to one of the videos from Emmanuel Acho, where they kind of dive into interracial relationships and interracial dating and the issues that a lot of black women are having and black people overall. The reason why most men date outside the race and why some black women date outside the race. So I want to dive into it, and once we get to a certain point, I'm going to give my opinion and thoughts on it as well. All right. So I want to dive right into it right now. Let's get it. So again, shout out to Emmanuel Alcho for this video. Definitely want to give him his credit. So let's get into this video, man.
And I really want to focus on the interracial aspect of all of this because someone asked me, they said, Emmanuel, as a black man, do you feel betrayed when you see a black woman with a white man? And I might not necessarily say I feel betrayed, but I feel some type of way. Rachel, you and I, we go back. And so I'm going to tell you something that I haven't told you before. 2017, I'm watching The Bachelorette, and I see finally they chose a black woman. They chose a black queen, and I'm thinking to myself, surely she's going to pick a black.
Before we dive deep into the video, my black people, I want to be straight up honest with you. Not all of y'all black people are kings and queens. Not even in today, where they still hold that hierarchy. Everybody can't be a king. Everybody can't be a queen. I get it. It's this empowerment thing. It's this, hey, you're a king. You're a king. You're a king. You're a queen. Not everybody was a king and queen in the Bible. So just because it's a word that you feel as if it's empowering, everybody's not a king. Everybody's not a queen. I'm so tired of black people saying, like, just stop. But let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep it going.
King. I know nothing about Ryan. Like nothing about Ryan. Never met the guy. But all I see is Rachel picked a guy who is seemingly white. I felt some type of way about that. What would you say to someone who shared those sentiments? What would you say to them?
Well, friend, I don't even know if I should say friend after you just said that. No, I'm kidding. But honestly, I had to say, you know what, my journey of love can't be any different just because the color of my skin is. And people can't judge me for picking someone who doesn't look like me. Like, I feel like they expect me to pick someone who looks just like me, but that's not fair. They should just want me to fall in love with whoever it is that I vibe with.
You know, I think about this quote, and I was thinking about this yesterday. It says, if the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? We all remember that. If the enemy of my enemy is my friend, then the friend of my enemy is my enemy. And I was thinking, historically speaking, white people are the enemy of black people. So when you see a black person with the white person, then all of a sudden you're like, wait, you're with the enemy. Have you lost friends based on who you love?
Behind all the holiday magic is you.
It's a hard conversation. It's gonna be a tough conversation.
Being a black man?
I wouldn't say I've lost friends. There has been a lot of difficult moments with people that I'm very close to that it's been very hurtful, and I don't know exactly how to approach it. I don't know how to communicate our relationship to them in a way that they understand. I don't know how to get rid of racism and just allow them to see him for the person that he is. I don't know how to do that, and that is why I want to talk, because I'm gonna tell you something. I love every moment of it.
Why?
Because what this promotes is growth and strength in our relationship. And I'm not against that. Adversity is a great thing. When people show true colors, this world is full of a lot of people. Not everybody's going to be accepting of everything.
That's a good point too. I would rather you show me exactly who you are than be a snake in the grass. I would rather you show your true colors. I would rather you be straight up with me. I would rather you say, Courtney, I don't like you because you're black. Cool. So now I know exactly where you stand. I understand how to move around you, and I understand diplomacy. I'm like, all right, cool. I know you don't rock with me like that, but I know because we work together, I understand the boundaries. I know the boundaries now. I would rather you do that rather than trying to play, trying to smile in my face, but then talking shit behind my back. And that goes for people who are, you know, friends, family, co-workers, whomever I encounter, and you're somewhat in my circle in some sort of way, and if that person feels some type of way about me as a black man, cool. And you tell me and I know, cool. It is what it is. No hard feelings. At least I know now. But it's gonna sit different with me if you're the person that is smiling in my face. I'm thinking you're for me. I'm thinking you're on my team, and come to find out you hated me all this time, but you was doing it behind my back. So I would prefer you to tell me straight up.
Do you not have a problem with the fact of when black people are seen with white people, to a degree, to the black person, like, you've lessened your blackness? Like, Rachel, you are an intelligent woman, law degree,
All right, I'm sorry.
well.
I'll let it keep going. But why does why is it, and it's our own culture sometimes too. Why is it that because you see a black woman or a black man with a person that is not of their race, all of a sudden they lost their blackness? What does that even mean? What does that even mean, bro? Because at the end of the day, I'm still black, regardless of how you spin it. As a lot of black people like to say, we aren't a monolith. There are different types of black people. We're not all the same. There are some black people I can't even relate to. And then there are some I can relate to. Just as there are some people of other races I can relate to. And then there are other people of other races that I can't relate to. It doesn't matter, bro. We put so much emphasis on race for what? Just because what happened 200 years ago, dog, that shit is over with, bro. It's over with, dog. Me personally, I can speak anecdotally here. I have yet in my 34 years of life experienced any sort of racism. Anything that I can pinpoint and say, yeah, that shit was racist. I cannot pinpoint it. And if at any reason that I have encountered it, I was either oblivious to it or the fact that I was in this different mindset and I was saying, you know what, bro, that's racism. But I was just in my own head and it really wasn't. And so this whole idea that, oh, well, you're dating outside your race, you must want to be white, or you must hate yourself. You must hate your own skin because you date outside your race. That's the dumbest rhetoric I've ever heard in my entire life. What up, my guy? What's good? That is the dumbest rhetoric I've ever heard in my entire life, dog.
Well spoken, you're with Brian, good dude, but he's not black. People look at you and you're like, Rachel shouldn't even be talking. Like she's not even black.
I've experienced that, and hearing you talk about the way you grew up, you've probably experienced that your entire life. I've always been told that I wasn't black enough, and I'm not even I don't have any white in my blood. Actually, I don't know if that's but just but I'm just saying, I am not biracial is what I'm saying. Like, I'm a black woman, and I've always been told that I wasn't black enough because of the way that I grew up, the experiences that I had. And so to be 100% honest, and you know this, it was something that I fought before I came onto The Bachelor. Up until I was 30, I really didn't date seriously outside of my race because I felt like society, not my parents, not my friends, society was telling me I had to pick a black man.
I got an email and it pierced my heart. She said, can you help me? What can I do as a white woman to be more accepted by black women? What would you say?
It makes no sense. For real, it's about culture, dog. Culture doesn't have a race. It doesn't. I can create an entire culture with everybody with people that aren't my skin color. I can create an entire culture full of people. Bullshit you not. I'm creating, believe it or not, I'm creating a culture of people now through my YouTube. I'm creating a culture of people, many different races, many different, many different backgrounds, dog. Like it's crazy to me. And so the idea of this, so the purpose of this video is simply because why do black women tend to get angry at black men when successful black men at that seem to date outside their race? But the problem is 82% of black men actually are married to a black woman, whether in the middle class or successful. So technically speaking, you're getting mad at a small percentage of black men. And typically speaking, I'm talking about heated. And typically speaking, bro, these are the situations that happen. One of the situations is they're either an athlete, and those athletes go to a private. Typically, they come out of a private school that was probably a predominantly white school, and that was his environment. That's all that they were around. Now I know some people will. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You can go down the street and there's a group full of black people. Okay, cool. Maybe that just wasn't his deal. Maybe his whole idea was just sport and school. And so he was around that vicinity. He hung out with those people. He went to parties with these people. He literally hung out with these people. And so it just so happened that this chick was white and they fit. And I can say the same, and I can go back and say the same thing with when it comes to other black men who date outside of their races, other white women, in regards to some of these black men too are what a lot of black women would call corny. The corny looking dudes, the nerdy looking dudes, the one who ain't got the swag, the one who ain't, oh man, I like a dude with a little edge. You look like an Uncle Tom. Those kind of black guys, those black women weren't checking for him. But now all of a sudden he's successful. He's in a great position. He's driving that BMW. He's driving that Mercedes or driving that Lexus. But there's a white woman in the passenger seat. All of a sudden, oh man, you sold out. No, he didn't. He tried to date you, but you didn't give him the time of day because you called him corny. You called him a cornball. You said he was too nice. You said he was nerdy. You said you wanted a guy with some swag. Make that shit make sense to me. So I never understood why, and that's still a small percentage of black men, and I still don't understand why a lot of black women get upset about when a black man dates outside of his race. It shouldn't even matter at this point.
I don't know the answer to that. I feel like, PK's family and his friends, his family's friends, everyone has been so accepting of me, and I just try to be kind to every person that I meet, and even if they hate me.
Love does break barriers, bro. It does. It doesn't matter. Like, at some point, we have to come to the mindset that race really don't matter, dog. I can learn. I can learn to like shit of another culture. I can learn to listen to certain things that this other person listens to. Because what does that do? That broadens my horizon. That puts me in a position to see and that puts me in a position to see things from a different lens instead of just this one focused lens. Now I'm not seeing everything just from a black eyes perspective. Now I'm seeing things from a white person's perspective, a Hispanic person's perspective, an Indian person's perspective. All of these different races out here. And then there are things that we can agree with, we can come together and agree with. Okay, well, you know what? You like that? You know, I actually grew to love this thing. I actually grew to like this. I used to didn't like it, but because you showed me a different way of looking at this, now, you know what? That's not such a bad food. Wearing these type of clothes really ain't a bad thing. X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be, right? Yeah, this sounds behind genetics, but people aren't looking at that. with the straight mindset. They use a weaponized. Yeah, exactly. They use it to weaponize it. It's crazy.
Because I'm with a strong black man, I'm still the same person. I know that I'm a good person. I know that
It doesn't make you sad.
It does make me sad because it actually not sad. It makes me feel extremely guilty
Why?
because I am taking a strong black man away from them.
And that's a
And
race shouldn't matter, but the experience does. The experiences do matter, but here's the thing. I would not feel upset. I would not feel upset because you are dating somebody outside your race and you feel as if you're taking that person away from their race. No, you're not. You're not. You fell in love with that person. You fell in love not with their race. You fell in love with their character. You fell in love with their mindset. That's what you fell in love with. You fell in love with their spirit. You weren't looking at their race. You weren't looking at the color of their skin. So like I don't understand.
but I love him, and I mean I shouldn't be penalized for that. I don't think, but
I agree.
there is the reality that that is true.
What then would you say, Rachel? Because you are the black woman. What can a white woman do to be more accepted by black women if the only reason she's not accepted is because she's with a black man?
There's nothing you could do. And what you said like hit me when you said you feel guilty. And you shouldn't feel guilty for loving who you love. That's their problem. There's nothing that you can do to change that. And to be honest, I used to be that black woman. I feel bad saying that out loud. And now being in my own interracial relationship, but I was 100% ignorant. I would look and I would see a white woman with a black man, and I would automatically assume certain things. And that's because I was so closed-minded. It's a heart issue.
Oh, my bad, y'all. Yeah, I definitely understand that there's more to it than just love. Absolutely.
And I say that because I used to be that person, and I'm so glad I'm not that person anymore. And if I go back to when I was in that place, there was nothing that you could do other than leave him to make me change my mind, which isn't fair.
No, for my purposes, do you feel like that applies to me as well, as far as a black man looking at me?
Yeah, I remember the first time I dated outside my race. It wasn't serious. It was before the Bachelorette, and I remember I felt every black man was looking at me like, oh, there she goes. We lost another one. It was my first date, and I just remember wanting to wear a t-shirt that said, I swear this is my first time. Why should I have to think like that?
There was a friend of mine, and he actually later apologized for it, but he actually, when I was with Lindsay, I don't even know if I told you
No,
this.
you didn't. No,
But he broke me down about like, dude, you need to be with like a sister, like you need to, and I think he had a couple drinks, but I never stopped him or put him in his place. I just let him speak. Because I said, you know, this is a lack of education. And we also have to be aware of what hate is and what a lack of intelligence is.
When I was in college as a college athlete, if there was ever a black man dating a white girl, a white woman, it would be said, "Oh, you're with the master's daughter." Like, "Oh, you're with like the slave master's daughter," kind of as if that was the black man's way to whip the master back, right? Like the white man is a king in his palace, and you can't as a black man do anything to touch the white man in society, but you can do something to lie with, to be with the princess. Don't you think that? And what would you say to the black people who have that ideology of kind of like you're still with the traitor, you're with an enemy?
Well, I would say that those people are searching for something, and I found it, and it's happiness. I don't have to define what makes me happy to anybody, no one. I don't have to define it to my parents, my family, no. I have to live with this person my whole life, right? So I'm sorry, I'm not coming home to you, to anybody here.
Even if, because I have to dig in on this point, because I would be remiss not to. Even if there's the ideology that Lindsay's ancestors would have oppressed your ancestors, you don't feel any guilt in that.
I feel guilty by you just saying that.
No, but it's
that's how you would think. Like, I'm not associated with what people 4, 5, 6, 7 generations did for me. I mean, because I'm white.
I think it's hypocritical though.
Okay.
Okay? So if I'm talking about changing the game, I'm talking about changing the narrative, and all of us as a black culture are talking about changing. Well, you can't want change in one ways and not the other way. If we're talking about accepting people for who they are and seeing people for who they are and loving people for who they are, and if somebody respects you, respect them back, then it shouldn't matter what color the person. People are saying this is not about black and white. This is a human rights issue.
In closing, there was one email that I received. Also, there was one email that I received, and I responded to this woman. I said, "I promise I will get it answered." And she said, "Emmanuel, how can I love my black man, my black husband better?" I'm going to ask you, PK, to answer that question to Lindsay, while also realizing you're answering it to the world. How can a white woman love her black man better?
The number one thing that I've learned is that one of the toughest things in my life that I thought was going to come was going to be who I was going to share my life with. You have to let that person in. They have to understand you. They have to know how you deal with things. So for Lindsay, she doesn't have to do anything different. She asks questions all the time. She's there. The responsibility is on me to open it up and not keep that stuff sheltered inside. All I have to do is let her in. And she has to continue to just ask questions.
Rachel, I guess ended by Brian.
They're killing us over here.
The PDA part. How would you say, Rachel's a black woman, how can your white husband love you better?
One of the reasons that I was so against dating outside of my race is because I felt like nobody could understand me like a black man can. And I think that thinking is problematic because I understand me and I get it. And what I need from a partner is someone who is willing to understand things as the way that I do, is willing to ask questions. One time he said, "Are you offended by me asking so many questions?" And that hurt me. Because I felt like, no, I'm not offended. I am so appreciative that you want to understand, you want to grow, you want to learn, and you want to try your best to get things the way that I can. At the end of the day, he's not black, so he's never going to understand my experience fully. But the fact that he's trying to and he wants to, that's all I need. That's all I need out of a partner. And I think that goes beyond just race. That's all you need out of a partner, period. Somebody who's willing to understand things the way that you should as a couple, and y'all.
Here's the thing. Even when you're in a black relationship, there are times you still don't understand your partner, even if they're the same race. There are times you still don't understand where they're coming from on certain situations because your experiences are different. In some cases, there are the only similarities that you have is just your skin color. Because you may be a black person that grew up in a predominantly white school, or I break it even further. You may be a black person that grew up in a two-parent household, and this other person may be someone who grew up in a single-parent household. Your experiences are two different things. The way that you see the world is totally different than that other one. So, in some cases, you still won't be able to understand that person and see where they're coming from sometimes, unless you ask questions and be open to receive the information that you're getting.
Can learn together and move forward together.
I've learned so much being with Rachel as far as black culture. Like, I thought I knew a lot about black culture growing up, musically, culturally and whatnot, but I've learned so much more being with her as far as educating myself. I mean, we've sat down and watched movies, 13th, Just Mercy, movies that really show the disparity and the horrific things that happen to African Americans on a daily basis. And I think that's something.
I'm gonna keep pausing it, guys, but they keep hitting on points that I have to respond to. I'm not watching. I'm done. I am done watching all of these slave movies, dog. I know what happened. I know what happened back in the day. I understood. I get it. It happened. At some point, we got to move on. At some point, we got to continue to stop looking in the rearview mirror and look ahead and where we're going. We gotta. If it was left up to me, I would say get rid of all the color purples. Get rid of the 13th Amendment movie. Get rid of Django. Get rid of all that. And I know Django had some funny moments in it, but This whole slave mentality, bro. Like we gotta get over that as black people. Bro. We gotta get over that. That shit's done. That shit's over.
Something that non-blacks need to really take a look at. You know what I mean? Because I think that'll really open their eyes.
Well, Rachel, Brian, thank you. Lindsay, PK, it actually was supposed to be your wedding today.
I know.
It was.
I know.
But Coronas. But
We're sending it for you guys.
I'm totally expecting an invite next year.
here we are. We better be there now. We're all friends now.
That was a great look, man. That was a great one. That was a great one. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Emmanuel Alto. That was a great one. So let me answer this comment real quick. So my buddy Ben, my guy Ben says that's a sad statement. You don't long to know what and who you come from. I know exactly who I come from. I know where I come from. But I'm not going to continue to linger on where I come from because guess what? The experiences that they experienced back then ain't got nothing to do with me at this point. I don't experience racism. I don't experience the things that they experienced back then. I am aware of what happened. I understood what happened. Now I continue to move forward. That's what happened. That's what I'm talking about. Continuing to talk about these things, continuing to blame everything on race, continue to keep putting it out there. That's not moving us forward. Because guess what? The next little kid that we show the slave movie to, they're gonna look at it. They're gonna feel some type of way. Then they're gonna look at every other Caucasian person that's not black, and they're gonna say, "Oh, your people oppressed us," and they're gonna have this whole victim mindset. "Oh, I'm oppressed because you chained our people up back in the day," not understanding that it was our own people who sold us into slavery. But we don't have those type of conversations. We only talk about the little bit pieces of our own people sold us into slavery, bro. So it's the same thing. Redlining doesn't and has not affected. Redlining don't affect me. It hasn't affected me. That's what I'm saying. So maybe I'm removed from the situation. Maybe it is me. Maybe I'm the one that's removed because I haven't experienced it. I have a nice home in a nice suburban ass neighborhood. Maybe I'm the one that's removed from it. Now, do I understand that it's out here? Yeah, I understand that. But I'm not going to continue to play victim. I'm not going to continue to keep using that as a reason why I'm not being pushed. I'm not catapulting forward. I understand what happened 200 years ago. I understand what happened during the Martin Luther King times and the Malcolm X times. I understand all of these things. But I'm not going to continue to use that as an excuse as why I'm not moving forward. We all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same opportunities in life. And if we're going to continue to keep having this victim mindset, we are our own problem. Nobody else. That's my point. So it don't matter who you're dating. It don't matter if your wife is white, Hispanic, black, orange, yellow, green. We still put our pants on one leg at a time. Yep, breathing the same breath. I agree with you about who Africans helped enslave. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm not. I understand where we came from. I understand who I come from, but I'm not using that as a reason as to why I'm not where I want to be in life, or because I feel as if the man is holding me back. Nah, fam. I'm not. Nah, I don't move. I don't move like that. Nor was I raised. Nor was I raised to move like that. Yeah, it is. I know it is. It's a conversation all the time, bro. But it's good to have these uncomfortable conversations though, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But I'm the guy that's going to be like, I'm a challenge somebody. I'm like, nah, like I get it, it happened, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse for everything. I'm not going to say every situation is racially motivated. I experienced biases when it comes to gender. I experienced that. That's a thing. How women can get certain things that men can't, and how men can get certain things that women can't. I've experienced that on both ends. So yeah, I've experienced bias, but not racial bias. I haven't experienced it because I don't move based. I don't move on that. I don't move based off of that. How I move is based off of, okay, if I didn't get this, it's either one of the two things that happened. It's not meant for me, or I didn't perform well enough to get what it was that I was looking to get. I'm not basing things off of race. Whether it's there or not. I'm not using that as an excuse. Just because you are black to act like it's not alive, well, it's not naive. It's the fact that I'm not using it as an excuse. I know it happens out here because as I said in the beginning of the video, beginning of this live, I understand what's going on out here. I'm not oblivious to it, but I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use that as a crutch. Yeah, I'm happy I never experienced it either. Yeah, I'm happy I've never experienced it either, and I wouldn't wish it on nobody. I wouldn't wish it on a black person. I wouldn't wish it on a white person. I wouldn't wish it on the Asian person. I wouldn't wish it on the Hispanic person. I wouldn't wish it on the Indian person. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. When you have great character, when you move in God's purpose, everything else removes itself. Straight up. Now that doesn't mean that I'm absolved from anything happening to me, but I'm not focused on that. I'm not focused on any of that. Yes, I was fortunate enough to go through an entire high school, my entire high school playing ball in a predominantly white school. Never had any issue. Made friends. Went to Montgomery. Went to a college in Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama. Y'all know about Alabama because that's where I'm from. But I live in Arizona now. Alabama. Went to college. Played basketball in college. In Montgomery, Alabama. One of the most racist places, and I have yet to experience any racism. And my college was a predominantly white college. Still didn't experience. So with that being said, was I covered by God? Possibly. And those around me never experienced it either. So is it a covering, or is it the fact that we moved in such a way that we weren't targeted as such? Could be. Who knows? But I never experienced it. Yeah, you grew up in Los Angeles in the 80s. So yeah, it was a different time back then. I was born in 90, and I have yet to experience it. Went to school in Mississippi, been to Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama. Never experienced it on any level. But let's move to the next topic, man. Hey, I love topics like this, man. This is great. This is how we continue to keep moving forward. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate y'all, man. So look, I want to go to the next topic, man. I want to know, do y'all know who B Simone is? B Simone. So one of those comedians, she was on Wild 'N Out, and she's talking about dating and how it's hard for her to even find a guy because no men are approaching her. I wonder why. So let's before I talk about it.
Hold on, take a look at this.
From her first.
Think you can tell what's real anymore?
Dissect it from there.
What you're looking at right now isn't a traditional ad.
Let's hear what Miss B Simone got to say. All right, let's get it.
Very handsome, pretty teeth would have got me maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
But he could be a friend. Ben, no, that's my brother.
Ben daha
That is my brother. I love Ben so much. No, I can't do Ben.
Okay. I will hit like
You know what, maybe?
Duke, but
Let it come to you. That's it.
She said, you know what, maybe just stop. We just let it be organic. But you know what's crazy, bro? Like, okay, seriously, as two, y'all are young. But, okay, we're all on social media. You're on social media, too. Y'all are really young. But you know me from social media. From the outside looking in, like, tell me as a brother and a sister, why would you not talk to B Simone? Not why would you? Why would you not? Like as a man, I feel like men do not try to talk to me. I'm not even gassing. They do not ask me on dates. Men are not in my DMs.
I can tell you why right now. But it's not like I'm not speaking from like myself because I think differently. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's because they're insecure. It might be insecure, and people are most men are like scared of women who like are very vibrant and just like some people like women who just
quiet and sit back
and just chill. But I feel like you.
But the right man will accept me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like when you walk into a room, you're very vibrant. You like you control the room.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It makes them feel like less of a man.
Intimidated.
Exactly. So it feels like damn. Like why would I be with somebody who like. And a lot of things, it could also be money. A lot of men don't like to be with women who make money.
Yeah, that's true.
I want my girl to make more money than me. I'm tired of this.
Hold up.
God damn.
So basically what he's saying is the reason why a lot of men do not or wouldn't approach a B Simone is simply because they are intimidated by her. Because she makes more money, potentially. And they're insecure because she's vibrant, because she has this aura about her that when she walks into a room, she just has this aura, so everybody just feels less than. That couldn't be further from the truth. From all of us who know who B Simone is, how she moves, and from the things that I've seen. For one, just because a man does not want to talk to a woman, for whatever reason, it does not make him insecure. Most men do not care about a woman making more money than him. In most cases, because he already knows, for the most part, he probably won't see that money anyway. So he ain't stunned that. If anything, he's probably like, you know what? She making more money than me, so that means I got to get my paper. Because he's fighting that internal demon within himself. And so I don't understand it. And this is when I hate when guys like this, shout out to Deshae. This is when I hate when guys like this start to, he's on the fence of that panda bear. Like, you pandering, big dog, just because it's B Simone, keep it a bean with her. She's loud. She can be very obnoxious. She seems as if she may not be a good partner. From what I can tell, from what I can intel, and from the things that I've seen her do. Bro, my mom makes some good money, and my sisters are all breadwinners in their relationships. And here's the thing, and that's dope though. I would never be a man I would never tell any woman not to get her paper. But the problem is, typically speaking, not all the time, and not all women, but in most cases, I'm gonna say most cases, it's the behavior behind the woman who makes that kind of money. She thinks she's better than, she thinks she's worthy at this point. She believes that, okay, well, I'm the head honcho, I'm the big dog because I make more money. Like, shorty, you just make more money. That's it. Because when push come to shove, if another dude come snatch you up, what you gonna do? What that money gonna do for you? Nothing. You gonna need another strong, equally powerful or more powerful man to get that man up off your ass. So it's more to it than just the money aspect of it. Cool, you make your dough, but that doesn't mean you have to be an aggressive woman. That doesn't mean you have to go out here, well, I pay my own bills. Cool, great, congratulations, you are a responsible adult. Congratulations, you are a responsible adult. You are doing what you're supposed to do as an adult. Congratulations. That doesn't make you worthy of the type of man that that you say you want. Oh, I want a man who makes the same amount of money or more. Okay, if you want a man that makes the same amount of money as you or more, you also have to understand what comes with that. It ain't just the money aspect. Because if you're making 6 figures and you want a man to make more than you, so typically speaking, I'll give a number. If you're a woman that makes 150K a year, but then you want a man to make 200, around 200K to 250K a year, you have to understand what comes with that. Yep, this is the woman capable of destroying walls of the home. Exactly. And so you have to understand what comes with it. Because if this man is already self-established, he had to build himself up, no help. You do understand he gonna require different things from you. And one of those things is not gonna be a loud, obnoxious, unruly woman. A masculine woman, when you walk into it, because when you start to get to this kind of level, you start to get around certain people and you need to move and behave a certain way. That doesn't mean you can't. Here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean you can't control the room. That doesn't mean you shouldn't control the room. But you should be able to do it without talking. You should be able to walk into a room, everybody see you based off of how you're carrying yourself, not about how loud you are and you being loud and you're talking, you're so vibrant, you all giggly and shit. You're extra loud. No. Being able to control the room without saying anything is crazy. Now, what's even more dope is the fact that you're also controlling the room in the sense of you also know how to hold conversation, intelligent conversation, with potentially your man's business partners or colleagues, whatever the case, that can help you, that may help you catapult you to a promotion. So being able to hold conversations when your man isn't there by you. That's what we're talking about. But this whole the way that B Simone move, she's not an ugly chick, but it's just everything that comes with her. It's like you cute, but man, I can't deal with the loudness. You laugh. Nah, I just
I hate telling girls.
Please help.
She like, can you help me get my passport? God damn.
You ain't got a passport. Shit, it's 150.
God damn. God damn.
You ain't got 150. Good Lord, come in.
Like that, hey. So it's like,
Come in somewhere. Call Ulta.
but I feel like
Jesus, what action is hiring?
I know she's a.
But nah, when you the person you find and like gets with you, you're gonna know like y'all gonna match energy.
For sure, I mean? For sure.
That's how it is. You know, I feel like a lot of men, bro, like they do all this flaunting and all these things because they're insecure.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So when you go across, it is good though because you don't want to run to somebody that's insecure to be with you. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You ever want somebody to feel
or using me for my platform,
exactly,
or
yeah,
just
like,
oh my god.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Like I'm not into the whole like I don't like when girls come when I don't like when girls post.
And you can tell, guys can tell, y'all can tell when a girl is just around you for the camera or she really likes you for you, for who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't like this is a big thing. Somebody asked me, they're like,
Can I ask a really important question, like a serious question? Can I ask a serious question? When she asked that question, when she said, "What is it that will make somebody not talk to B Simone?" Why didn't after he said all the things he said, why didn't he also flip the script and say, "Well, let me ask you this: what kind of guy are you looking for? What is your ideal guy?" And then when she answers that question, you follow up with, "Okay, what is it do you believe that man wants?" And don't give no BS answer like he will want me. No. What is it that you think that type of man will want? What kind of woman would he want? Because you want it. I'm pretty sure she want a man that makes more than her. That's one. Now you got to understand what comes with that. Because she was trying to shoot her shot at the baby. We gotta we gotta be genuine about some of these conversations, bro. Like, we can't pander to every single situation. We can't pander to all the women all the time, bro. Sometimes you gotta hold them accountable. Sometimes you gotta be straight up with them. Like, look, shorty, you loud, you obnoxious, you talk a little too much. Sometimes you just gotta learn to be quiet. Well, that's my personality. Well, that's something that can be worked on. Like, simple as that. Everything does not have to be a man is insecure or he feels intimidated by you because you make an X amount of money and you control a room. Man, most men don't even move like they don't even care most of the time, dog. A lot of times they want you to they want you to shine. They want people looking at you. Most men. They like, oh shit, hell yeah, look at this is my trophy, bro. Like, look. And they happy like you see other men looking at her like, damn, she fine. And you like, yup, and I'm the one that got her. So nobody's intimidated by it. It's the other thing. You're loud, obnoxious.
How do you feel about like getting with a girl and like she they asked me two questions. They said, how do you feel about getting a girl that do the same thing you do, and how do you feel about getting with a girl that don't do it, but then when she starts with like chilling with you, she starts
She wants to do it.
Yeah. That's what like.
Would you date a girl in the industry that's like on Twitch and on YouTube and that she's a content creator? She's trying to build her following and her platform.
Man, like
she's already in it though. She's already in it.
Yeah, like wait, she already has a platform and everything.
Maybe not as big as yours,
Yeah,
but
she's
she's consistent. She
Yeah.
loves it. You could tell she's honed in. She
Yeah, I
hasn't
would.
really made it yet.
Yeah, I would.
Okay,
I would.
okay.
As long as it don't come off like okay, like she on some like, cause I just sit back like I'm an observer. Like,
You watch.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you know, and I like to see. You know what I'm saying? Like if you start asking me to be in certain things or whatever,
Do
like,
this. Yeah.
Like, I'm the type of person like I'm gonna help you like. With everything, if I see that you're locked in, I'm gonna help you with all the advice, everything you need to know to make sure that you succeed.
That's how I am.
Succeed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna not be the person that you end up with.
Yeah.
To be that.
Forever.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna take that credit or whatever, but I might be the person that God put in your life to take that step. Like, yo, I'm gonna put this in your life to be able to. And she might be
That
a
next
star.
step.
She might be a
Yeah,
star.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I wasn't that person to stay with her, and I'm cool with that. Like,
Yeah.
to be able to do that, but I don't like
That's for sure.
certain things to be able to like tell me like or like, yo, can you do this or be in this or all that stuff is to involve her
First date.
Yeah,
You
like,
wanna do YouTube? Huh?
yeah, like first video,
Like,
I'm the
what?
Shane's girlfriend.
What?
I'm the Shane's
Oh,
babe,
what?
like, I don't like
Put
that
your
shit.
phone up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I don't like girls like who just always have to feel like you have to record or post
Every
something.
single
Yeah,
thing.
that shit. But girls, I'm young too, so like a lot of girls my age, that's what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's little girls my age.
Yeah.
It's not 23, 24. It's not really like
All
average.
right, that's good for that one. Shout out to the Shay Frost and shout out to B Simone for all of them. But hey, B Simone, look, peep game, B Simone. Look at yourself first. See what qualities you have. Now, look at the type of man that you want. I'm talking about the man, not the man that you fetish over. I'm talking about the type of man that you see yourself marrying, settling down with, having children with, living your life together with. What does that man look like? Once you say what that, I'm talking about financially, his character, everything about him, height, size, all of that. Put it down, write it down, do whatever you got to do. Once you do that, reverse engineer and say, look, am I the type of woman, do I fit this type of man? And you have to be honest with yourself, B. Simone. You got to be honest with yourself. Don't sit up here and overinflate your ego. Well, I'm a baddie. Why wouldn't a man want me? Don't give yourself, well, I'm a 10. I'm a 10. I'm deserving of this. No, be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. What is it about you that you believe that you can change? What is it about you that you believe that men will not come up and talk to you for? It ain't, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and answer this question for you so you won't got to do it. It's not because they're insecure. It ain't got shit to do with your money. You got to look deeper than that. It ain't because you walk in the room, it's an aura. No, you got to look deeper than that. You got to look at your character. You got to look at the type of person that you are. Are you even dateable? Are you even marriage material? Are you even moving in such a way to receive the type of man that you want? And if you can be honest with yourself in those things, and if that doesn't, if the result of what you figure out once you ask yourself these questions, if it doesn't align with the type of man that you're looking for, then you need to go do some more work. Simple as that. Or that type of man that you want might be out of your weight class, big dog. Might be out of your weight class. And so you might have to tolerate certain things. Now, I'm not talking about disrespect and nothing like that, but I'm talking about there may be certain things you might have to tolerate. If you, I'll give you an example. So, if you typically would look at a dude that's 6'2", you probably want to start checking for guys that are about 5'9", 5'10", maybe 5'11". Look for them a little shorter. Or if you have a guy, that you typically interested in, he makes over 150K a year. Okay, well, you probably gonna have to look at a guy who probably make 120K a year to 90K. And then guess what? There's always room to grow. But the main thing that you need to be searching for as well is how is his character? What is his work ethic like? Does he have a purpose? Does he have a goal in life? Those should probably be the main thing, depending on his age. If he's anywhere between his early 30s and 20s, yeah, that's what you should be looking for. If anything past that, then again you have to look at not only his character, but his work ethic, but also is he a good provider, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, yeah, there you go, B Simone. Just helped you out because you're not an ugly girl, bro. You're like honestly, you're not. But if you already know that you're not an ugly girl, then men still aren't approaching you. Then you got to look deeper because there may be something deeper that's going on versus your look. Just saying. Good shit, Courtney. All right, so this next topic, man, is So I don't know how a lot of people feel, but I love Candace Owens, dog. I love Candace Owens, bro. She keeps it a bean. She keeps it a bean. She gonna tell you straight up. I know a lot of people, especially black people, dislike her because she holds them accountable. And of course, other races and other communities dislike her too, simply off the strength of she holds them accountable. She has a conservative mindset. And I honestly believe that I always agree with Candace Owens. Always agree. And then I doubled down on that when she came out about the Black Lives Matter situation and how they were stealing money. Yep. I figured that out. And so when she doubled down on that, that's when I was like, yeah, Candace Owens is that deal, bro. So she was just on the she was doing an interview with Nick Cannon. And so they had this full on discussion. So I want to dive into a certain part of it that they were talking about, and it's more so about the ABC community and just the back and forth between her and Nick Cannon. And I'm gonna talk more about it.
Here's a quick visual to show how IULs can help build generational wealth. The first wealth bucket is a death benefit. This can be up to 5.
Realize it. You don't make that connection early on. You think you're like the guy came on stage and like did this whole speech. Literally right after, it was just like transgender everywhere.
But that's a beautiful story.
It's not a beautiful story because this is the problem. Kids grow up and TV is something that is impacting their psyche and their spirit. They don't realize it. You don't make that connection early on. You think you're watching stuff.
Unless they have parents that explain to them.
But that's the problem. They don't.
Right.
That's the problem. They don't.
So then that's the ultimate problem. Yes. It's not Hollywood that's the problem.
Well, Hollywood's a piece of it. So what I say is that what they've done quite brilliantly is they intentionally broke down the family, okay? Because
not Hollywood, you're saying the government.
The government's, this is all government, just to be clear. Yeah. The government broke down the family because they knew that the youth would naturally aspire or seek out matriarchy and patriarchy elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have mom and dad at home, who becomes mom and dad? Okay, you're the kid you're listening to your, I sound old, Walkman, walking down the street, Now you're like, when I was growing up, like it's now mom and dad, and maybe it's Biggie, it's Pac, maybe it's now for another kid, who's like the hot new artist coming up now? I don't know, who would you say is like the hot new artist these days?
Yeah, Drake, Kendrick.
Whatever, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, whoever it is, you turn these people suddenly, you're pursuing that patriarchy no matter what. So dad's not at home, you're not spending time with mom and dad, then you're getting pushed into the school system. So you're learning history a certain way, culture is impacting you a certain way. It's all related. It's not, these things are not separate.
Because that's life.
But that's not life. It was not life. It's not
We've
like
always had influence from entertainers and people that we look at. You can go all the way back to Shakespeare. Like it's always our philosophers were our entertainers. People were walking around quoting Plato and Aristotle.
Entertainment is a part of life. That's correct.
Right.
But what I mean by that is Hollywood is.
This was me, struggling to keep up with posting consistently on YouTube and getting less views than normal until.
It's built is about.
By the way, shout out to Nick Cannon, shout out to Candace Owens. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I want to give them that credit too. And also, if you in here, make sure you like the live, man. Look, I'm not asking y'all to buy me nothing. I'm not asking y'all to spend no money. All I'm asking you to do is like the live. It's gonna help the algorithm continue to keep pushing my content out for more people to see the content, bro. So do me a favor, like the live. Hey, and if you have anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to ask or answer to, hey, put it in the chat.
It's not about money.
You think it's more than money? Because everything you're saying is,
100%.
what they do is for the dollar. It's not to really control minds.
There's no dollar. You're trying to tell me when you and I don't know how old you are, but we got around the same age, graduated high school, there were this many trans kids?
Yes.
No.
It's just now that there's an opportunity for them to be expressive and they're in a safe space now, because now they were probably struggling a little bit more, but the community has always been.
That's an agenda. That's an agenda, and I think.
So what would the okay?
Because it's interesting when you hear people that are speaking about that agenda, like Cat Williams came out and said that he knew it was going to be a thing. Then you start realizing like they go from a movie to suddenly trying to sell it to you by telling you, oh, this person's kid is non-binary. What are you talking about? These kids are not all confused about what gender they are. You're teaching them that. Kids don't think like this. What do you mean? What are you non-bound to? Why are you saying this? Well, you're being attacked in your psyche in the classroom.
Ultimate
plus
agenda.
Hollywood.
Like what is so within that agenda? What's being accomplished?
What do you mean what's being accomplished?
Like why would someone set an agenda to convince?
Well, in my viewpoint, when you look at all of the agendas, the one thing that they all have in common is they're an attack on the family. So if you examine history,
the nuclear family.
Yes, and if you examine history, anytime socialism, communism, obviously the most evil ideology that's ever existed, has led to the death of 100 million people over the last 100 years. Once those communist regimes achieved power over the people, one of the first things they established was that you were not allowed to practice faith, and they would break down your family because the state wanted to become your family. They didn't want you to go to dad for advice or be sitting around with mom and dad at the table. We are your family now, right? You can read the book 1984. It kind of has this scene where it talks about how even children will tell on their parents if they're not abiding by the rules of the state. This is 1984, unfortunately, is now 2024. We saw this during COVID. And people are going to the government to, how should I live? I mean, during COVID to me was the ultimate. I thought they were flexing to really test how much power they had over how much they had achieved, how much power they had via the media. Could we get people to just do, like, it was like a game of Evil Simon Says, 6 feet social distancing, wear a mask. People were doing things. I swear, if they had come out tomorrow and said you have to hop on one foot to live, people would have been like jumping around grocery stores like that, because they wanted to test to see how quickly they could infiltrate the psyche and how people would abide and whether they would tell one another, which they did. People were calling on their neighbors. Like, I saw 2 people walk into the house. It's funny in the retrospect, but also scary in the retrospect. Right now, people are trying to walk back. They were telling on each other, trying to get people fired. You know, I saw this person at the grocery store supposed to go once a week. That to me was the ultimate flex of the arm of the state to see how much control they had over people.
Well, we have been digging very deep early on in our first session. I didn't even think we was gonna get that deep.
I agree, bro. I definitely agree. There's definitely agenda in Hollywood, because I said it before. I had this discussion with a friend of mine not too long ago, and the conversation was, I was starting to see more and more things being presented on television, on Disney, Netflix, Tubi, Hulu, all the streaming platforms and commercials and all of these different things that were started to just subtly just start to get put out there. And one of the things that really stuck out for me, and let me set the precedent by saying this. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. I don't care about what you got going on in your life. I don't care about how you live about your life. But when you begin to try to put things in front of us, whether it's subtle or whether you're aggressively doing it, you're putting what you're doing and what you think is an innocent thing. What you're doing, you're trying to program people to make you believe that it's okay. Again, I say this. I don't care how you live your life behind closed doors. I don't. I truly don't care. But when it begins to impose on my family's life, when it begins to come an issue where you have things in schools teaching kids about this that don't even need to know about this type of stuff, that they should hear more things about this from home than at the school. When you start to tell me that men should be in little girls' bath or women's bathroom, that becomes a problem for me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people. That becomes a problem for me. That doesn't mean I'm phobic in any sort of way. Again, I respect all humans. But when you try to force me to believe in your fantasy, when you try to force me to believe in or pretend that you're something that I know you're not, that's when I have an issue. When you have when you try to pose that a little kid that's a little boy or a little girl think that they are the opposite gender, it becomes an issue for me. That doesn't mean I'm phobic in any sort of way. So I'm gonna continue to keep saying that. So those of you who feel as if, oh, well, it's a subconscious thing. You're phobic. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I respect you as a human, but I'm not gonna respect the fact that you feel as if it's okay for me to call you a woman when you're a man, and vice versa. Because you, as a man that's pretending to be a woman, you don't even know what a woman is. And no, a woman is not a woman who feels as if they're a woman. That's a circular answer, and that's not a real answer. And it goes the same for a woman who believes that she's a man. So I'm gonna say it again. No, I'm not phobic. I'm not homophobic or transphobic or none of that. I'm none of that. But what I am telling you is that I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that I respect you less. Just don't. I don't. Again, I don't care what you do in your household. I don't care what you do in your life. But however, when what you do in your life starts to impose on my life and my family's life, that's when I have an issue. And so I'm saying that now. So for those of you who may disagree with what I just said, that's fine. You can disagree, but you can't say I'm phobic because I said it several times already. So that was a great show, man. And thank you for those of you who popped in with your boy, who locked in with me. I thank you again. Like I said, I'm going to continue to keep showing up for y'all because y'all continue to keep showing up for me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's going to help the algorithm continue to keep pushing all my content out. Because I'm telling you, we're trying to be one of the biggest YouTubers out here. And I can only do that with y'all's help, man. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you again. And I will see you next week. And be there.